Thank you so much for coming again. Like all of you, I'm here for the political revolution and to lay down a new foundation for the next generation. I'm here for my two younger sisters who deserve a quality education, and I'm here for my parents who have had an application in the broken immigration system for 25 years now and deserve asylum. I am here for families all across the country who deserve way better, and I'm here for all of you, like you're here for me too, so thank you. Our special guest today has spent her career being there for other people. She's someone I can relate to in many ways. She's the oldest sibling, a responsibility that teaches you to be a leader when you're still very much a kid. She worked hard to get through community college, a journey I grew fond of as a public school graduate. Finally, with a little mentorship and guidance, she grew to recognize her own power and has harnessed it and used it resiliently ever since. Although Senator Nina Turner faced financial and family hardships, she has repeatedly stood up after being knocked down and stood stronger every single time. She has dedicated her life to public service, beginning as a legislative aide, then serving on Cleveland City Council, and later moving on to be a college professor and a fierce advocate for justice nationwide. She has been standing up for women's rights, labor rights, voting rights, wealth inequality, and social justice, and she has never been afraid to stand up for what is right. She wasn't afraid in her career in the Ohio Senate. She wasn't afraid when she ran for Ohio Secretary of State. She wasn't afraid during the 2016 presidential elections when she endorsed Bernie and tirelessly served as a surrogate for the campaign. And she isn't afraid to stand now. She has continued the revolution that Senator Sanders began as a former president of Our Revolution, an organization that continues to fight for economic justice beyond elections. As someone who joined this movement after being filled with hope by this very campaign in 2016, I know the amount of energy that it takes. And Senator Nina Turner, I don't know how you do it, but the praise you receive and recognition for continuing this work is well deserved. I look forward to filling my life with accomplishments powered by truth, justice, and by always standing up for what is right in her example. Senator Nina Turner, we thank you for your passion, dedication, and resilience, and let's welcome our champion.
Let's give it up for Crystal. Introduction. I'm going to have to take Crystal on the road with me. Introduce me. As you all know, I do a lot of introducing of the senator himself. So it'd be nice to take Crystal to introduce me around. Beautiful thing. Well, New Hampshire, it's such a pleasure to be here with you. I touched down on Friday. They've been working a sister ever since I landed from Friday to this very moment, but it has been an absolute pleasure to be here. And I know that all of you are about to go out to canvas, which is a beautiful thing. I was asked a question by a group of leaders here in New Hampshire who are very much supportive of Senator Sanders. And the question was this: what else can we do? What more can we do? And I said to them, which is what I'm going to say to you right now, which is to continue to knock on doors and make those phone calls. Because as much as social media is important, it gives us the opportunity to reach people and not leave our living room, reach people and not leave our offices. There is nothing that can take the place of human touch. Being able to look in somebody's eyes or knock on their door or pick up the phone and they get to hear your voice. Twitter can't touch that. Facebook can't touch that. Instagram can't touch that. It can percolate out and get a lot, but it can never take the place of human touch. And that is why what you are doing is so vitally important. Good old-fashioned door knocking, neighbor to neighbor. You are the most important. And I thank you for that. And I say that as somebody who has door knocked a time or two in my career. Unlike my sister Beyonce, I didn't wake up like this. I was on the ground, baby, grassroots all the way, knocking doors and making those phone calls that are necessary, standing out on the polls in Cleveland, Ohio, in November, in the cold. New Hampshire, y'all know something about that. So I understand what it means to do the kind of work that you're doing and why you matter so much to this campaign. You really are the wind beneath the senator's wings. It is people like us that make the difference. It's people like you. And even though folks like me who have a national profile, we get to fly in, it is really what happens in this state when I'm not here. It's what happens in this state when the senator is not here. And that means that you're happening in this state when we are not here. You are the complement to this mission, and nobody can take your place. Isn't it just riveting, fantastic, wonderful, life-altering? And you get to stand up for, beside, and with a candidate who is looking for transformation in this country. A candidate who stands up to the power structure and say, not on my watch will I continue to let the working poor of this nation and the barely middle class suffer at the hands of excessive greed. Not on my watch. I challenge you. How many other candidates have an anti-endorsement list? Y'all better talk about that. Only our senator has an anti-endorsement list. And when he said, very much in the spirit of FDR, judge me by the people who hate me, baby, judge me by my enemies. Yeah. He is the only candidate where these folks have just called him out by name and just really pretty much have said they'll take any Democrat but him. That should tell you something, that who truly is on the mission of transcendence in this country, who will lift the people who've been left behind for far too long in this country, and that is Senator Bernard Sanders. I take great joy being in this fight with you, because it is us. When the senator says not me, us, and I'm loving that wall right there, that is it. That is the foundation of our campaign. You see the senator in action when people are cheering, saying his name, Bernie, Bernie, Bernie. What does he say? No, 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 no. It's not me, it is us. And the senator understands, like other folks just don't, that it's not about winning this one office. What he is working for is movement building. Building something that will outlast his presidency, outlast his legacy, which is conscious-minded people from all walks of life on the move, who are, in the words of Fannie Lou Hamer, sick and tired of being sick and tired and will not take it anymore. Building a team of people who generation after generation know what they deserve and are willing to stand up for what they deserve. He also knows that when he wins, he needs the same army with him, because folks are not just going to fold and say, hey, Senator Sanders, you were right. Mr. President, you are right. We do need Medicare for all. You were right. We do need to increase the living wage. You were right. Women do deserve to have their whole damn dollar. You are right. We need to bail out student debt, that $1.6 trillion, let the wealthy pay for it. We bailed them out. Now it's time to bail out Main Street. You were right. No, they're not going to say that. They're going to resist at every turn. They may have more money, but baby, we got more people power. People power, conscious-minded people power wins the day. All the time, all day long, and that is us. New Hampshire, it's all on you. No pressure. It's all on you. We depending on you to get the dominoes, baby, to fall. It is a beautiful thing, New Hampshire, so we need you because you are going to set the tone. The senator won this state last time, and baby, we can do it again. We depending on you to make it happen. Now, this is your mission, should you choose to accept it. Yes. Mission impossible. We're going to turn it into mission possible, because you start from a very strong foundation, and that is what we were able to build in 2016. And so we got to keep the momentum going. We can't rest on what happened in 2016. We got to do a new thing in 2020, and that's where you come in. You are the heart of it all. Send you greetings to the senator, and great and many thanks for what you're doing today and what you will continue to do. It takes a lot to get out there in the heat, to knock on these doors and be the voices for your neighbors, but we are in good hands in this space. So 2 things I want to say in closing is, one, I don't want you to ever get weary in well doing. Don't worry about what the polls say. Do what any good politician does, is that when the polls are up, they right. And when they down, we just ignore them. You know what I mean? That's what no, seriously. Polls are snapshots in time, and certainly you feel really good when your candidate is up, and you don't feel so good when they're not up. But the true poll is the one that you're working towards right now, and that is the poll on election day. You are putting in the work and the effort to make sure that poll is the poll that's built to last. It is when people go to the ballot box. So that's all I want you to focus in on that is that poll. So don't get weary and well doing. And secondly, this campaign is rooted in principles, right? Not me, us is our foundation. But I think that one of our sheroes from history encapsulates what this campaign means. It is Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. and she said these words. And I want you to wrap your mind around these words with me for a moment. She said, what the people want is very simple. They want an America as good as its promise. That is what you are working for, an America as good as its promise. That Medicare for all is creating an America as good as its promise, both morally and economically. Yeah. To say that students who went to school and have racked up debt because the system is absolutely rigged, and to say that I am going to forgive that debt, $1.6 trillion, to take that burden off of those students and their families so that they can continue to live a good life, build a good life, is creating an America worth its promise. To say that women, you deserve, and it's past time that you have your whole dollar, is creating an America as good as its promise. Being out there campaigning with workers from the grassroots who are fighting corporations like Amazon and Disney to receive a living wage of $15 an hour is creating an America as good as its promise. Standing up in 2016 when you were asked the question, what is the biggest threat to this country? And saying unequivocally, without flinching, the biggest existential threat to this country is climate change. Yeah. It's creating an America as good as its promise. Not waiting on the polls to tell you which way you should roll. Knowing that you are committed to doing what is just, what is right, and what is good, whether it's popular or not, is creating an America as good as its promise. And having a man, when the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he said the true measure of a man is not where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. It's where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. Senator Bernie Sanders is continuing the righteous legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and all of his contemporaries, other people who were right beside the good Reverend, who are not talked about as much. He is continuing that legacy. And oh my God, what a moment we are in. And we get to be in it. We're not sitting on the sidelines in our living room. We are in this moment, putting our sweat equity out. New Hampshire is all up to you. And we can't thank you enough. But I want you to wrap your mind around what this incredible journey is all about. For the folks who've seen The Matrix, where Morpheus asked, is it the red pill, baby, or is it the blue pill? You got to make a decision. And I'm so glad that you all have decided to be on this masterful, magnificent journey of transcendence so that in our lifetime, that we can do for ourselves and future generations what we know needs to be done in this country. And how magnificent is it? A lot of copies out there. It's a beautiful thing that people have evolved those days just a little bit. People have moved to the senator's side. They all preaching from the gospel according to Bernard Sanders. Man. All 120 Democrats that's running for president. Think about that. I mean, seriously, he had the courage to bring these issues to the national level when people said it was political suicide. And the senator, he continued to push and to move and to help us understand that we do deserve the rainbow mosaic of humanity. All of us, no matter how we identify, deserve better than what we are getting today. Oh yeah, the gospel according to Bernard Sanders. And why, when we take the copies? And they good people, as the senator said. They're some of my closest friends, he was saying. They good people. But why would we take the copies when we have the original? And Senator Bernard Sanders is the original, baby, all day long. There will never be quite another political leader, elected leader, quite like Senator Bernie Sanders. There will be others that come up the pipeline who can take on the mantle, but there will never be, in our lifetime, someone who's been more consistent, as consistent, whether it was popular or not. We rolled the tape 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago. You juxtaposition anything the senator was saying in the 1980s, for example, to what he's saying today, and it is the same thing. Because when you are fighting for what is just, for what is right, and for what is good, that don't go out of style. So Senator Bernie Sanders will never go out of style. So New Hampshire, it is all on you. And this is your assignment, should you choose to accept it. This message will explode. This message will explode. You want some explosion in this country, baby. This message will explode to the good. So I thank you all. The senator thanks you all. Dr. James Sanders, we thank you all for taking on this assignment. We will win New Hampshire. With these hands, baby, y'all know I say it everywhere I go. Raise one hand for yourself and one hand for somebody else. And with these hands, we will elect Senator Bernie Sanders, the next president of the United States of America. God bless you all. Y'all ready to hit some doors? Yes.
How about we all take a quick group photo very quick?
Yes,
so much fun.
Man, I just love, I'm gonna tell you something, New Hampshire. I've been to a lot of states, and y'all bringing the lightning, the thunder, and the rain with all of this incredible artwork. Man. So where do you want us?
Maybe up against this
Up
wall,
against
the
this
biggest
wall.
background. Careful with outlets around the backside. I'll put some row out the way.
I wonder if this is a bigger wall. There we go. You don't have to have it like 3 rows.
Careful with the outlets here. We all need to be ready to stand on an outlet just so that people won't step over them.
All right, we got it.
Now, I don't know, Shannon, are we okay? I feel like we need
I'm working on it.
one person over here, somebody to move on that side to balance it out. Can we just squeeze in a little tighter? We can get some. Yeah, can we get some? Yeah, there we go. That's it. Bring it on in.
All right, on 3, burning. 1, 2, 3.
Burning!
Perfect.
We didn't follow instructions.